I am so out of it right now. But that's okay. Anyways, I don't know if I should be working with config files tonight, or if I should just I kind of want to get the LEDs wired up to the printhead. I don't quite know exactly. So what I'm concerned with, and maybe I'm just overthinking this, is that the wires that are going to the LED, the wire loom that I have here is 3 wires. It's a 2-wire plug on the PCB. So I swear I hear somebody coming down to the basement. Ethan coming down to the basement? Is he sneaking down to the basement? I don't know. He might be. I hear things. Anyways, we have 2 wires that plug into the PCB where the LEDs go with this plug here.
Boo!
And my wires. You want to say your? You want
Hit
to say?
that like button and subscribe.
Good night. Give me boom boom fireworks. Good night. Boom.
Okay, let me say it regular.
Okay,
Ah!
start
No,
again.
let's do it a different way. No, let's do it a different way.
Come on.
Close your hand and I go. No,
Oh.
Close your hand and I go. Then.
There you go.
Hit
Okay.
that like button and subscribe. Bye.
Hey Rex Weldy. Good night. You have a good night. I love you.
Love you too.
So anyways, so I have this wire which I have to run through my chain all the way down to the board and to my head. I think I've given up on. I watched the video and I read all the instructions for calibrating Z offset with Clipper. I think that might be too much for my tired brain tonight. But so I have to take these wires, cut them, wire it onto. Just had it in my hand. Wired it onto this plug right. Oh sure. This one right here. No, not this one. Where'd it go? It was right in my hand. Anyways, it's here somewhere. Oh, sure. It's it was right here. Shows the kind of night I'm having. Man, I better not have dropped it because that's a black plug. Did it slip underneath my? Nope. I don't know where it went to. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. How could I lose a plug in like 5 seconds? Hey, Exalter, how are you? I just lost a connector. How could I lose a connector? Well, let me look here. Hang on. First of all, let's pick up some tools that I dropped before. What the heck did I had it in my hand 5 seconds ago. Not a big deal. I got to run the wire anyways, but oh my goodness, and it's not like I have a spare of this particular connector. Did it fall? Did it fall? It must have fallen. Oh well, I'll have to order one. It's probably a 10-cent part. That's okay. I read the instructions on the Z offset, and it's not bad, but it's a lot. But I really want to get my LED wire run. I am bugged. Okay, let me move this over. Did that connector fall underneath here? No. I had it in my hand. Anyways, I guess I have to cut this, and I have to run just 2 of these wires down to the board. I'm just not sure. One is an LED. According to the PCB, one is an LED, and the other one is a F5. So, hey, non-fam. But I was just going to rewire that connector, and oh boy, I'm telling you. Speaking of that, I've got I'm very cluttered over here, and I'm very disorganized with my tools. I'm going to print that. I'm going to look into that system. I don't remember his name. Was it Zach? That has this whole tool system storage thing that he's come up with, which is really, really cool. I was looking at it today, and I think I'm going to print some of those and start using them. But meanwhile, give me 1 second. I'm just going to look once more down on the ground here. If it fell on my rug, I might be hooped. Okay, well, it is a tiny part about this big, and I can't use one of these because it's a sideways connector. Unbelievable that I could lose a piece that quick. Did it fall behind my desk? Let's see. No, it didn't. What'll happen is if it's on the rug, I'll walk on it one day. And it's not like I'd hear it fall if it fell on the floor. Well, that's okay. I can still run. No, because I got to connect it down to the board too. Now, I just don't know the easy way to get this to go. No, maybe I have to keep all 3. Again, I don't know if I have to keep all 3 wires on coming from the main board. It's just so confusing. And now I got these all tangled. Maybe I'd be better off. Maybe I'm better off trying the Z offset calibration. This is just a flippin' mess right here. This is just a flippin' mess. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. I think these wires fling that black connector around somewhere. Man, I just can't let it go. Okay, so let's put this aside for now. Number 1, I don't know whether I got to run all 3 or just 2 wires. I've been looking it up and I can't find anything on it online. As far as the configuration for the wiring of those LEDs to the head, all I know is there's 2 wires that go into that plug. So, but I've got to order another one of them plugs. Because that one is... I'll find it right after I order it. And it's going to be like a probably 10-cent piece. And it'll probably cost me $12 to ship it. Unless my local guy has one of them here. It's just not a common type of plug that I would have. I know that for a fact. So let's put all these in the bag. Maybe it will turn out. Hey, Joe Velasco. Hello, hello. I'm just going to have one more quick peek around underneath my keyboard, underneath my pad of paper, just to see if I flung it anywhere. I do not see it. Okay, well, I'm going to consider it lost. Okay. So, with that said, let's have a look at. So what I'm looking at here is the, oops, let me get my ugly mug out of the way there. Hang on one second. Let me move this down over here, just like that. So here we are on GitHub. We are on the Clipper plugin for self-calibrating the offset. So I've read a bunch of this. These are all the different changes to the versions. So I've read over a few of these things. Oh, excuse me. And basically, I get the gist of it. Is what it's doing is it's using you need to have a ZN stop probe, a ZN stop switch, and what it's doing is nozzle's gonna hit the ZN stop switch, and then the probe, not the tip of the probe, but the body of the probe is going to then come and hit the ZN stop switch. And there's going to be a mathematical calculation between the distance of the nozzle and the distance of the probe, because the probe is actually going to hit the bed. But you also need to find the offset, or the what's the word I'm looking for? There's a thing down here that actually shows a picture of what you need to find. Right there, you need to find the pre-travel amount of the actual plunger of the probe you're using. Now, I have no clue what kind of probe I'm using, other than it looks just like this. So I'm probably okay with using the 0.5 millimeter pre-travel on it. Yeah, so that's the gist of it that I get, is that it does the math, calculates the distance between the nozzle and the ZN stop switch, and then the probe comes down to the ZN stop switch. It knows the difference from the tip of the nozzle to where the probe is coming down, and then when the probe probes the bed, it knows exactly the height of the bed. It takes the math between the distance between the probe and the nozzle, and it calculates your Z offset that way. I think that is the simplified, dumbed down version of how it actually works. So the switch offset is the hard part, yes, and apparently that's the part that you got to play with a little bit, because even if you're the video I did watch, they had the pre-travel of 0.5, but they ended up having to have that at 0.53 to get the proper Z offset, because that's the hardest part to calibrate, from what I understand. I agree with you there, yeah. So, but I've also got to find my X and Y position for that switch over the ZN stop, switch as well. So I've got to enter that information in there as well. So, yeah. Hey, Andrew Osmond, it's like Bo Peep sheep. Leave it alone and it will come home. Yeah, I'm just leaving. I am. It's always in the back of your mind, right? It's always in the back of your mind. Like, I just had it. Where is it? But I'm letting it go. I'm a liar. I'm not letting it go, but I'll find it eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to SSH into the Pi. I read through all this. I'm going to end up reading through all this again, because you read this stuff, and by the time you get to the end, you forget what you did at the beginning. So under the how to install. So basically, I'm going to go to the, with current Moonraker visions, the Demi service is not necessarily necessary anymore. If you have updated the 0.91 version, you need to adapt the following configuration block in your Moonraker config file. The old dummy service can be removed by executing the install script again. Hold home.py.clipperzcalibration.sh. Okay, I think it's before here where I have to go. Oh, right here. So this is what I've got to do here. I've got to install the plugin basically by going into the Pi and running these commands right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to move this screen over. No, I'm just going to open, let's go into Mainsail. Let's connect it. We should be connected now. There we go. So I don't need that right now, but what I need right now is my Pi. I'm going to go to Putty. Where is Putty? Oh, excuse me, there's Putty. Let's go ahead and open Putty. So we are looking at 110.0.0.222. There we go. So we're going to log in, Pi, password Raspberry. Okay, now it says to confirm that you are on your home directory. So we're going to go cd space /home/Pi, and I'm probably on the right directory anyways. I am. Okay, let's do that. Now let's go ahead and copy this first line of code back to our putty, and then we're going to paste it in and enter. There we go. That was quick. So we cloned into Clipper-Z Calibration. We basically, I guess, found it or installed it there. Oh no, that was finding it or basically activating it. Now we're going to copy this bottom line. And we are going to paste this in, and this should install. Oh, I need the password for Pi. This should install password for Pi. Restarting Clipper, linking extensions. Oh, that was fast. It was super fast. So we're done there. So we've done this part here. It's safe to execute the install script multiple times. I don't know why I need to, but I shouldn't need to because it's looks like it already did. It linked the extension to Clipper. It's restarted Clipper, and I put the password in, and it looks like everything's done. Well, let me do it again just to make sure. And it's done. Okay. And we'll be able to see if it is for sure or not. Okay. Now, okay. So I'm just going to read new with the current Moonraker version. The dummy service is not necessary anymore. Okay. If you have updated to 0.09.1, I don't know if I have. You need to adapt the following configuration block in your Moonraker config file. The old dummy service can be removed by executing the install script again. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and see. So this is what, and then I was also informed not to copy that bottom line because it's going to give errors. So let's go ahead and copy this whole section here. Let's go look for the Moonraker config. Okay, over here, machine. Now, apparently, it's right there, Moonraker config. Okay, so now this gets copied, this gets pasted in over an existing, let me have a look here, bear with me. Update Manager Client Z Calibration. Or maybe, it's new. It's something new that gets put in there. Update Manager Client Z Calibration. So I can just pop that in anywhere. I can pop that in at the end. Let's have a space here and we'll pop it in. So what this does, this part, basically what this does is this, if there's any updates that put out by the person who created this, it'll automatically get the updates. So that's what I kind of gather from that. So we will do a save and restart. Okay, and no errors, so we're all good there. Okay, so far so good. So now this requires a repository be cloned in your home directory. Git clone https github. This install script assumes the clipper is also installed in your home directory. So I have to copy this. And I believe I have to putty this in here. Fatal destination path clipper Z calibration already exists and is not an empty directory. Okay, so it already exists, so I didn't have to do that. Okay, I think we're okay. Okay. Now, if the probe works reliably, then the auto Z offset calibration is basically configured by adding the Z calibration section. All possible properties and its default values are documented into here. So I want to check one thing. Under machine, I should now have, there we go. So under machine now, we have another section here under the update manager called Z calibration. So that means that that installed properly. And so if there is an update to the Z calibration plugin, I will find it here and I can update it just by doing the update here. Okay, so far. Oh boy, there's a few people chilling out with me here. Nobody's piped in so far, so obviously I'm doing not bad. Oh man. Okay. Okay, so let's go back here. How to configure it, preconditions. As preconditions, a probe needs to be configured properly. Of course it does. It must work flawlessly. If you don't know how, please have a look at the clicky probe. So the clicky probe is configured and working properly. We know that. Okay. It's good practice to use more than one sample and use a median as probe samples result. And it is important to configure an appropriate probe in X, Y, and Z. The Z offset does not need to be an exact value since we do not use it as an offset, but it needs to be roughly a real value. Okay. Okay. The following configuration is needed to activate the plugin and to set some needed values. Okay. New, the X and Y coordinates are now combined in one option, X, comma, Y value. Okay. So let me look through. So the bed mesh, adaptive bed mesh. So I believe I need to create a section now called Z calibration, and I have to create a config file called Z calibration or Zcal or whatever I want to call it. And this is going to be in that Z calibration. So let me copy this portion here. Okay, because I'm just going to double check. This a minimal start configuration could look like this. That's fine, but that's all down here. Or is it? Oh, this is a start configuration. Nozzle position top. Nozzle Z stop. Okay. Okay. So I do know that I have to create a config file in here for Z calibration. So let's create a directory and we'll call it Z calibration. Oh, should it be called config? My bad. Rename Z calibration.cfg. I can go into that. Oh, I didn't want to create a folder. What am I doing? How do I go back up one level? There we go. I didn't want to create a folder. Let's delete that. I want to create a file. Create directory, create file. There we go. Z calibration. CFD. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. And of course, it's going to be on the second page. Then I want to go in there, and then I want to paste that whole portion in there like this. Okay, so that's what I want to do here. And then I've got to come in here, and I have to set some coordinates for my probe switch. So I have to move my probe over above the Z offset. switch, and I have to tell it the position of my probe, but I got to make sure it's not the little switch on the probe. It's got to be the body of the probe. Okay, hey, I lost a couple viewers. That's okay. This is boring stuff. I'm just doing this so I have a recording of it, so and I can cut that sort of part out and all this. So okay, so we're going to save and close. Okay, and then I have to zcalibration.cfg. I have to then, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename that. I'm going to put it all lowercase, just so I'm not confused, because I do believe that this is all case sensitive. There we go. And rename. There we go. So now I got to go into my printer config. And I have to include if I'm not mistaken, I have to go include. So we go boom, include the calibration.cfg. Okay, and then I can save and restart, see if I come up with an error. Yeah, it does not exist. Oh, I probably don't need those that, I don't need those 2 marks. Boom, boom. That's all I need right there. Let's see. Nope, does not exist. Okay, you know what? I got to spell it right. So I was okay. I got to spell it right. Calibration. Spelling is everything. Let's see. Now we should launch. Okay, so unable to praise switch offset in section Z calibration. So that means I have to enter some data. That means I got to enter some data. So let's go ahead and have a look in my Z calibration config file. Let's see what data it wants. What was the error? What was my error? It was looking for a switch offset. Switch offset, of course. Okay, so machine Z calibration, switch XY position, switch offset, the trigger point offset used to mag probe, switch blah blah. So what I'm going to do for now, because I do have to get some data, I have to collect some data. I'm going to go into the printer config, and I'm going to just comment this out for now until I get my collected data. That way, because I'm going to need to obviously launch this in order to be able to collect that data and move my head around. So there we go. Okay. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to write some numbers down, but let's home. First of all, let's go ahead and home this print. Yeah, of course, this camera's frozen. It's just going to be the way my night goes, I guarantee. So let's go ahead and deactivate that camera, and let's activate that camera again, and we're okay. There we go. We're not frozen anymore. The camera is free. Okay, let's go ahead and home. Get rid of those notes. I don't need that. So we're going to home it. Okay. Now I want to pick up the probe. Let's attach the probe. Okay, and now I need to jog, and I need to find the probe position over my Z offset switch, over my Z end stop switch. Again, I don't know if this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, but this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go back. So I'm going to turn this around so I can see from behind here. So I want to get that probe. Basically what I want to do is we want to get the bottom of the probe here over top of this switch here, and then record those coordinates. Okay, I can actually go 25 right now. Let me bring Z down a little bit so I can actually... Okay. Just going to be careful here so I don't do any damage. So, this is the fun part. Gotta find the best angle to get this from. Okay. Okay, there we go. And then X has got to go over a little bit. Okay, I think that's about good. Yep, I think that's good. So that position is good. So that basically what that is the probe body, the body of the switch, not the actual switch itself, but the body is going to hit the Z limit switch. And now I need to, is it an M114 now? I think it's M114 to get the coordinates. Okay, so my X is 199. My Y is 276.0. So X 199, Y 276. Now those will work in conjunction with my nozzle position, my X and Y coordinates for the nozzle position over that switch as well. Okay, so that's all I need for that. So let's go ahead and dock the probe. Let's dump the probe. Okay, we dumped the probe. Okay. What else did I need? That's the only information I need for that. But then I also need to figure out. I'm going to go with the 0.5 on the switch, anyways, with the 0.5. Because really, I have no clue. I think these are pretty standard switches, or end stop switches. So with that information, let me just see. This is where I got a little bit confused reading the information. Machine Z calibration config. So that would be my switch offset, the trigger point offset of the used mag probe switch. Larger values will position the nozzle closer to the bed. Okay, so hang on a second here. I need to find where this data goes. I'm just going to look at that video I watched earlier. Now, the video I watched is on here. There is a link up here. This is in the GitHub. And there was a link up here, right here to the video. So I'm just going to go and have a look at this. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. This is where he talks about finding the pre-travel amount with a 0.5 millimeter. And then we go in here. I'm just going to zoom ahead a little bit here. We've got all this done. Well, I want to make sure. Yeah, we did exactly this. So we homed it, and we picked up the probe. So let's just see here. Oh, he did a quad gantry level first. Why am I not hearing this?
F.
Can you gather the data?
X, Y coordinates.
Right there.
We're going to add them to our configuration file.
Okay, so there's where he did what I just did. So he basically he's basically jogging his
Write down the X, Y coordinates because we're going to add them.
right there, and he found the XY coordinates.
Let's install the.
So we already installed the Clipper plugin.
I highly recommend you read it as you work. Simply going to follow these.
Okay.
Engine to the directory, make sure it's there.
So I want to make sure I'm not missing a step. So we've done this.
You'll definitely see some items.
We've done that. And this is on the GitHub. This is on the GitHub, and the video is linked to this actual page.
Works perfectly if I don't include it. Because all you do is scroll down to the very bottom of this file and then paste the text right here.
Okay, that's what we did. We pasted the text in there.
You can hit save and then close.
Turn that up a bit.
In
You
case
can hear
you're
him
wondering
talking.
why we updated Moonraker with that information, just go down to your software update.
Yeah, always quad gantry level first. Is that going to change? That may change that shouldn't change my XY location, but you know what? It might. So let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, let's do a quad gantry level. I mean, that's a good point. Why take that chance? Let's go ahead and do that. We'll do a quad gantry level here. And then we'll go get those coordinates again, just to be safe. But yeah, and I did, you mentioned that to me yesterday too, I believe. Let's go ahead and do a quad gantry level here. Those motors sound loud. I think they're vibrating on the board that this is on. Oh, definitely. I moved it over and it's not nearly as loud. Okay, let's quad gantry level, then we'll get those coordinates again. We'll see if they're the same. Okay. QGL. Then I got to worry about startup scripts and everything. I got to do a startup macro and all that stuff. But hey, we'll learn. We'll get it. Oh boy, I'm not staying up as late tonight. I can't. Oh. I'm determined to do this. This is going to work. Turn my Z speed up a bit. Okay, we've docked. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, let's go pick up the probe. Okay, and let's go ahead and see our position again here. So let's, where am I here? We're going to go 25 at a time for now. Okay, and let's go back. Oops, wrong way. Okay, let me get this lined up again. Okay. Bring my Z down. Okay. Let's go down just a bit more. Okay. Bring my Y back. Right there. And that looks... Nope, I'm going to bring Y back a little bit more. Right there. Okay, that should be good. Okay, that's going to do it. So let's do an M114. We'll do that in a second. Let's go to M114. See where we are. X200. Okay, well, we went from 199. We went to 200, which is it's reasonable. 200 and Y274. So we're very close to where we were, but these are real coordinates now. Z doesn't matter. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put the probe back. Go home, probe. Okay. Z homing speed like 10 and XY homing 76. Let me go into my config and see where that is. Let me do a search for homing. And let's see if I can find that. Okay, so here we are. XY homing speed. You're saying for XY 76? 76. Okay. And Z 10. And where's my Z homing speed? Let's go. Where are we set here? Homing. Was that my Z? I don't know which one was which. XY stepper settings. Okay, homing speed 76. What's this other one though? Stepper Y. Oh, there we go, 76. Oh, okay, that's stepper Z. That's stepper X. Stepper Y homing speed 76. Oops, not 765. That would throw an error. There we go, Z stepper settings. Homing speed on Z, we have 8, so I can boost that to 10. Hey, Ricky B. Z up to 15. Okay. Let's go up to 15 on Z. And let's save and close. Save and restart and see if we'll test it out here. Okay, let's home it and see what happens. Oh, that's much better. That's quite a bit faster. Yeah, that's faster. That's a little bit better. Okay. Okay, so we've got our I'm going to continue on this video here. So we've got our data, we've got our numbers. So we have X200, Y274 for the position of the probe. Let's continue.
Mainsail or fluid, Moonraker OS packages.
Okay.
So head back to the installations instructions and scroll down just a little bit more. And then there's a link here, highlighted text called configurations. We definitely want to click on that because we still have to set up the configuration for this. And this is the configuration for the Z calibration command or macro.
So let's see, did I copy the wrong, where are we here? Oh, where's my screen? Oh, I've closed that screen. Let me reopen it here. So we're down here, and we're under here, and we are under where it says configurations. Oh, that's the same one I just did. Oh, it is. Oh, that just brought me down one step. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
Bro, there's a lot of text here. Don't worry about it. We don't need it all, but hit copy. and we are going to create our config file.
Okay, which is what I did.
So
We created the
notice,
config
I've got
file.
something here called autoz.cfg. We're going to create one of those. You don't have one. And so there's the option in the created, and you want to paste everything that we copied into here. So click save and then close. And then we're going to go back into the printer.cfg file.
Okay, let's just go back up. Back up a second here. Here we go.
But this is what made sense to me. And once you're done, hit save.
Let's just see what he's doing here.
And then you should be able to go in and edit the file that you just created. And you want to paste everything that we copied into here. So click save and then close. And then we're going to go back into the printer.cfg file. And we're going to scroll all the way down. Where in Clipper we have our home XY position, and you want to copy this.
Okay, so that's right. I need my home XY position. That was in my printer config. I need to know those numbers. Home XY, and that was at the bottom. I believe. It was above the macros. Nope. Where did I put that? Or was that in the clicky section? Sorry, my bad. No, that's in the printer config, and it's the home XY. Let me look for it. Home XY. Yeah, that must have been. He got it from the printer config. I believe I have to get it from the clicky bed variables. Oops, wrong one. Clicky variables. Nope. 2035 and 300. That doesn't make sense. Home, safe Z home. I'm not using safe Z home now because it's overridden with the clicky. But it's going to be the same number. I think I just have it commented out. That's why I didn't find it. Come on, mouse. Safe Z home. Yeah, it was commented out. But that's what I need there is the home XY is 2035 and 300. And that is the same number. I'm just going to double check because I'm paranoid. That is the same number that's in the variable. 2035 and 300, yeah. And 300. Okay. Yeah, this is really sorry if this is slow and boring, guys, but I'm being very careful, very cautious. And let's see what he's doing with these numbers now.
Then we can close this and head over to our AutoZ config file.
Yeah.
And those coordinates we just took from the printer file.
Nozzle
go
position.
right here into the nozzle XY position.
Nozzle XY position. Okay. So let's go into that. I'm going to rename this. after. I'm gonna, because I want it to show up on the first screen. I'm gonna rename it like he did. That's makes better. Auto Z. Auto Z. Rename. There we go. That way it'll show up on my first page. Nozzle XY position was 203.5, comma 300. Do I have to have that comma? Yes, I do, but no space. 203.5, comma 300 backspace. Switch XY position is 200 and 274. Okay, and I'm pretty sure. Let's just keep watching here.
And then we take the coordinates that we recorded when we jogged the micro switch.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And then the bed position. Default from relative reference index of bed mesh. Oh, maybe it's going to get it all. It's going to be 150, but I think it looks like it's going to get it there anyways. Go ahead and be very careful because I will be playing this back when I tune yours. Okay, Ricky B. Just watch this guy's video. Watch the video that's linked on the GitHub page for this. It's excellent. It really is.
Over the ZN stop. That's the switch X.
Okay, and the switch offset. I'm going to. I'm being lazy. I'm going to use a 0.5 switch offset. I think the switch I have is the same one as he showed in the demo. It's very, very similar. Exactly similar. It's an exact similar switch. So I'm going to use the same offset on the switch. And then he does say to leave everything as is. Maximum deviation 1 we leave. We leave the clearance offset. We leave the speed. I believe everything else he left, but let's just hear him out here.
XY position. And then this bed XY position is simply the center of the bed. My bed is 350 by 350, so this was half in both
Default
directions.
relative reference index of bed mesh. So he has not used that. So let's go ahead and just be safe again, and let's go ahead and do our relative bed position. And I'm going to go 150, 150, and then comment that out there. So let's do that. Okay, and continue on here.
The switch offset is what we took off the spec sheet. When I started, this was 0.50. I made some
Hey, John.
adjustments later, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute.
Okay.
I left the max deviation and speed alone.
Okay, probe first fast.
Same thing for the probing first fast.
False. Did that say false on this one? This has a whole bunch of different stuff. 50. Probing first fast. Probing speed. Default from stepper Z homing speed. Okay, this is defaulting from a lot of the other settings that are already done. So probing first fast is false. Let's see what else he says here.
And then the M401 macro goes and gathers the Euclid probe. This is the macro I set up previously. And then the M402 returns it back to its holster. Be sure to use whatever macros you've set up for your Euclid or Cookie probe.
Okay, so macros set up for the start code, end code. Okay, I have to figure out what macro was set up for the clicky. So let's save and close. Let's go to the dashboard. So there's the macros right there for attach and dock probe. Where do I find those macros? I don't believe I can get there. No. Oh, I wish I could hover it and it could just tell me what the macro was. There's obviously a place here I can go find the macros. So let's, and maybe it's under printer config. I think it's at the bottom, the macros. Displays, macros, here we go. Okay, quad gantry level, turn off heaters. Tool head. Huh. Okay, the macros might be in the clicky probe variables, or in the clicky probe macro. Oh, right there, clicky macros. There we are. Okay. Entry point, exit point, homing variables, attach probe, lock, dock probe, unlock. Attach probe and lock it. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, what did I call it? It is called, because there's attach probe, lock, dock probe, unlock. And so we just need attach probe and dock probe. Attach probe and dock probe. Entry point, homing variables, attach probe, lock, dock probe, probe unlock, probe lock. Attach probe right here. So where do I, okay, he had an M. Wow. Holy crap, this is all, that's the macro there, but how do I find, so in his video, he had an M401 for attaching the probe. How the heck do I know what my G code for attaching the probe would be here? Or is it just called attach probe? Anybody? Maybe it's just called attach probe. And it doesn't have an M number. Maybe all I have to do is put attach probe as the value in there, and it's going to go to that G code macro attach probe. Let's try it. Worst case, it just won't work. We have attach probe, and then for the dock, we have dock probe. Because all this macro stuff is gibberish to me. Thank goodness somebody else can write this stuff. Oh, there we have a G4P1000. No. Attach probe. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But hey, start G code, attach probe. I don't know if that's going to be right. I don't think that's right. It's all weird colors. Okay. A list of G-code commands to execute prior to each calibration command. See docs, command templates, MD for G-code format. This can be used to attach the probe. See docs, command templates, MD. This is where it's confusing. I've run into my first snag. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to have to research this some more. There's our attach probe routine right here. This whole thing is the attach probe routine, but What is the G-code command that I would put in there to attach the probe? Oh, maybe. Okay, let's try this. Let's go ahead and run that and see if it shows up in the console. Attach probe. So we're attaching the probe. Attach probe. It just says attach probe. It doesn't have a G number or nothing like that. So I would think that is the command that I got to give it, is attach probe. Okay, well, let's... And then dock probe. Dock probe. Okay, makes sense. So that's what we're going to do. AutoZ config. Attach probe. It had a capital A. Oops. Underscore probe. It's red. It means there's an error. Is it a small case? Oh, maybe it is small case. And then dock probe. Okay, dock probe. Let's save and close for now. Okay. Let's go back to the dashboard. Let's go look at that. Yeah, it was dock probe and attach probe. But it was capitals. I don't know if that'll make a difference. I have heard that it is case sensitive. If I change the case, no, everything in these things is lowercase. So let's do that. Okay, so now, so this is called AutoZ config. Save and close. Let's go to my printer config and let's go ahead and AutoZ. Let's change the name of this one to AutoZ config and let's uncomment it. And let's save and restart and see if we get an error. It may come up with an error for what I just did. Unable to praise clearance in section Z calibration. Clearance. Okay, let's see what's going on here. There is no Z calibration because I renamed that. Z calibration clearance. Let's find it. Clearance right there. Clearance. Z offset from the probe offset section. Okay, what did he have? Did he have anything going up there under clearance? I just learned from watching
XY
others.
position is simply the center of the bed.
Yeah.
My bed is 350 by 350, so this was half in both directions. The switch offset is what we took off the spec sheet. This was 0.50. I made some adjustments later, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute.
Maximum deviation, clearance. Oh, he's got that commented out. Okay, so we have the clearance commented out. Okay, so let's comment out the clearance. Okay, and let's save and restart again. Try probe. Unable to praise option samples. Okay, because those are all commented out. He's got all these things commented out. Maybe I just don't need those. So we have samples, default from probe samples section, the number of times to probe each point, probe Z values, probe samples section. And again, if I look at the example I was going by, yeah, he has all those other things, clearance, position, samples, all. Maybe I don't need those. Or maybe I set them later. Maximum use samples. Well, it doesn't hurt to comment things out. It means that we can always bring them back in. He is using a 2.4 as well with a clicky probe. And position min was sampled out as well. I'm just going to double check. Yeah. Yeah, everything was sampled out except what we did the default on. Any of these that have defaults, can always be adjusted, and in other words, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. Probe before switch G code. Okay, let's see what this does. There might be one more error there in the before switch G code. No, I think we're good. Okay, so it accepted that. Now it's going to go. Now there's a way to test it.
Line include AutoZ.cfg.
Okay.
And once you're done, hit save and then restart.
Yeah. Test
so now
and tune.
Let's test and tune. So you'll want to home and level your bed first. In my case, that's a quad gantry.
Okay, let's quad gantry level and home it. Let's do it. Then we'll come back to it. So let's do a home and quad gantry level. Now that we've speeded up the XYZ homing, we should be a little quicker. Okay. Quad gantry level. Let's do it. And coming on 10 o'clock. Almost my bedtime. Not staying up as late as I did last night. You know, I'm still eyeballing my freaking desk for that switch, or for that plug that I lost. Damn. I'll have to vacuum tomorrow and see if I hear a clunk clunk. That is going to haunt me until I find it or buy another one. Check the bag, make sure I didn't overlook it. Yeah, it's not in there. Oh yeah, it's moving quicker. Okay. While it's doing that, let's watch the next step.
Gantry level. So my printer does not normally run this quickly when it's initializing like this. I'm running this part of the video 300% faster than usual, just so we can get through it, but also just to prove to you that I actually do it before the rest of this. And then going to the console, I type in calibrate_Z, which is what we just added.
Okay, calibrate_Z. Let's see what it does. Picks up the probe. It's going to come and it's going to probe the, let's see if this works. It's going to hit the nozzle first. So we're going to calibrate the nozzle first. Okay, here I'm going to... So we're doing the nozzle first. Then it's going to come up. Oh, come on, focus. You're in it. Now it's calibrating the probe, the body of the probe on the Z end stop. So it's doing what it should do. Now it's coming to the middle of the bed. And it's going to touch down in the middle of the bed. Okay, so far it's doing what it should. Okay, it's going to park that. Then it's going to come over here and it's going to bring this down. No. Okay, so we have that part. Now there's, let me go to the next steps. Let me bring this back out here. And let's listen. Actually, let's go here and let's listen to the next step on this.
And here it goes. It picks up the probe. And then you can see here where it's testing the nozzle height.
Then it comes and tests the probe height.
And now it's actually testing the probe height, or measuring it, I guess I should be saying. Then it moves out to the center of the bed and measures that as well. And using these 3 sets of measurements, it's able to determine the height. Now, move the print head out to the center of the bed.
Which it is.
Then use a piece of paper or a feeler gauge.
Okay, let me grab a piece of paper. Uno piece of papero. Okay, we got a piece of paper here. Okay, you guys can watch while I do this. Here, let me see if this, I think this close-up camera here kind of shows better what's going on. If it cooperates and focuses for me. There we go. Oh, that's really bright if I put the paper there. Okay, anyways, let's do that. And let's see what he says here. Oh, come on, camera, stop. Okay.
I measured this paper with a micrometer, and it's 0.1 millimeters thick exactly.
Oh, let me just say, Ricky B, you're not sure if this will work, but I found G32 unlocked Z probe sled. I think just putting in those commands I did just worked. I think that's why it just worked like that. So whatever I called the macro worked, or whatever the macro was called.
In the console, enter in G90 to get into absolute positioning mode.
Okay, G90 to get into absolute positioning mode. So we're going to go here. We're going to go G90. Okay, absolute positioning mode. Offset is larger as allowed. Offset C61, maximum deviation 1. Okay, that's fine. It's G90, and then let's see.
And then enter in G0, and I'm entering a Z5. So I'm going to move to a position 5 millimeters above the bed.
G0, Z5. Okay. G0, Z5. And it moved 5 millimeters above the bed. It moved the nozzle down. Okay.
And just to make sure it looks okay, it does. And now I try Z1. So it's 1 millimeter above. And again,
Okay, G0, Z1. Okay, I see what he's doing. He's moving the nozzle down until it comes in contact with the paper. And then he did a Z1 again. Let's see, did he? Let's make sure.
check it. No head crash or anything. I tried 0.5. Let's see.
Okay. I'm going to do 1 again. And then G0, D.5. Okay. And we'll do that again. We're just going to repeat until we get this. Why isn't it moving? G0, G0, D.3. I guess it has to be a different number. Huh. No, so it's not going down low enough.
Seems to be okay. Everything's looking reasonable. I tried 0.2. It's just barely above the piece of paper. And when I try 0.1, I can feel the paper just barely touching.
So G0.1. No, it's not. So there's something, an error came up earlier. So let's see what that error was. Oop. This is the fun part. Okay. I'm going to, let's run, I'm going to run that, I want to run Calibrate Z again because there was an error that came up after. I'm going to do that again. Whoops. So, Calibrate Z, we're going to probe the nozzle. Now we're going to probe the switch, the body of the switch. Okay. Now we're going to come to the middle of the bed. We're going to probe the bed. And I'll try and figure out that error. I just can't find that error again, but it was red. So I think if it's red, it's not good. Okay, and then we're going to park the probe after 4 attempts here. Okay, we're going to dock the probe. There, now, okay, so the error says, here, let me go back here and show this. So it says, offset is larger as allowed. Offset equals 3.261. Maximum deviation equals 1. I wonder, so that offset, so that's got to be, this is where it, okay, that offset is this number, this switch offset number right here. So the higher you go, the lower the nozzle goes to the bed. So obviously, this number is not coordinating with my switch. Now I'm curious. I'm going to just do a 0.55. Save and restart. And I'm going to try that again and just see if that makes a difference and if that error number is increased or reduced. So we're going to go Calibrate Z. Do I have to home and I shouldn't have to home and no, I do have to home. I do have to home first. I shouldn't have to do a quad gantry level again because nothing has moved. Please don't make me do a quad gantry level again. Let's see if this makes a difference. Just going to do a Calibrate Z here. So actually, I'll just let you guys see what's happening over in the console. You'll see the readings it's doing. I may actually have to figure out what sort of switch this is and find that number. Okay, and here comes the switch being measured. There we are. And we're coming down to the bed. And measuring the bed. Docking the probe. Okay, so same error. Offset is larger as allowed. Offset 3.294. So the last error was offset 3.261. So the offset went the opposite way. So we have a bigger offset now, and we want the offset to be smaller. 3.261, and now it was 3.294. Very little difference. So I don't get. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing before I break something. Let's change that offset. So instead of 0.05, 0.5, I'm going to go 0.1. See if that makes a difference. I'm just being lazy, not finding the actual proper number. So we're just going to try one more time here. No, I'm not putting negative numbers. It's just supposed to be the actual offset number that's the number I'm supposed to look up for the particular switch I'm using. And I'm just being lazy right now. So let's go calibrate Z again. I just want to see if this makes a difference. I believe negative numbers to move the probe closer to the bed. Well, I'm lowering the number. I'm lowering the number. So the number was supposed to come from the actual manufacturer of the probe and the spec sheets. And it's supposed to be the, what was it called? The pre-travel, a pre-travel number. So, but the video also does say that you have to tweak that number as well. So it's possible that the probe I have has a much lower pre-travel number than the one that I put in. So we'll see if this makes a difference. So far now we're probing the bed. Let's see if we get that same error. So we're docking the probe, and then we're gonna parking tool head. Let's see if we get an error again now. We will. Okay, but that number went way lower. So 2845. So we went from 3294 to 2845 is the deviation, and we want a maximum deviation of 1. Now, I'm curious. I'm just curious now if the nozzle will get any closer to the bed. So negative number. Let me try a negative number there. Let me try a negative number there. Again, it's not going to hurt anything. So switch offset. Let's try a negative number, minus 0.5. Go the opposite way and see. See if it errors out number 1. If it errors because it's a negative number. Yeah, it does. Okay, it must be above 0. Okay. So we cannot put a negative number there. So we can put a small number there, though, like 0.005. It's above 0. So we shouldn't get an error here, which we're not. We're starting. Okay, let's just try one more. And after this one, regardless of what comes up, I'm going to do the paper thing with bringing the nozzle down, see if it does get closer to the bed. Okay, let's do Z calibrate. Calibrate Z. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to go ahead. So first thing it's doing is probing the Z end stop with the nozzle. Now we're probing now we're going to probe the switch, the body of the switch with the nozzle, or with it. When calibrating from the console, that's where you enter the negative number. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this offset is still interesting. Okay, well, let's try what you were saying there. And I believe I just got to get those codes again. What was the it was G90
code, and to the center of the measurements, it's able to determine.
Okay.
Now, move the print head out to the center of the bed. Then use a piece of paper or a feeler gauge. I measured this paper with a micrometer, and it's 0.1 millimeters thick exactly. In the console, enter in G90 to get into absolute positioning mode, and then enter in G0, and I'm entering.
Okay, G90 and then G0. So G90, okay, G0, Z10. So that's even higher. G0, Z5. G0, Z0. So you're saying now to go G0, Z minus 1. Oh, I see where you're going. Okay. G0, Z minus 1.5. Okay, and we're moving down now. Okay, well, I maybe need to go back and fix that other number first. Okay, so let me go back. Oh, no, I think no, let's just leave it like this. G0, Z minus 2.5. Height, G0, Z minus 2.8. Oh, we're a little tight. So G90, G0, Z minus 2.6. And no, it's going to be 2.7. G0, Z minus 2.7. That's about the right number right there. Okay, so now what do I do? Let me just go back to the video.
Z5, so not sure anything. I try 0.5, it seems to be okay. Everything's looking reasonable. I try 0.2, it's just barely above the piece of paper. And when I try 0.1, I can feel the paper just barely touching.
Okay.
If you need the nozzle to be closer to the bed, go into this Auto Z CFG and modify the switch offset. Notice I mentioned earlier I started at 0.50. I have to bump it up to 0.52. The higher the number, closer to the bed. The lower the number, farther away from the bed. And then hit save and close, restart Clipper, and then you can go back and home.
Save and close. There's nothing to save and close here. Save config. Okay, but I'm going to reset that number. Okay, at least I know where to go with this now. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this number back to where it was, because I think that's 0.5. I'm going to go 0.6 on it. Save and restart. We're going to do this once more, then I'm going to call it a night. But I think then I'm going to do a save config after that. But let's just do this once more. We're going to go through this. What the heck? It can't hurt. Okay. Okay, let's do it one more time. Oh, accept and then save config. Okay, perfect. We're going to do it with that offset being a more realistic number. Okay. Okay. Let's go through that process once more. G90, G0, Z. I know I can go Z0. Yep. Okay. G0, Z minus 2. Yep. G0, Z minus 2.7. Still enough. G0, Z minus 3. A little too much. G0, Z minus 2.9. Oh, that's very close. Z minus 2.8. That's perfect. Okay, so accept unknown command. Save config. Okay, save config worked. So that was Z minus 2.8. Okay, so we save and config, we restarted, we're gonna home, and then he says to test it.
Level the bed or make sure the bed is level, and then go ahead and run the Calibrate Z, and then enter G90 mode and try that test again with a test piece of paper or a feeler gauge, and until you get the effect or the consistency you're looking for. And then once you're done, that's it. No matter what temperature, it'll work.
Okay. So we'll do the gantry level, we'll do everything. Hey, Zenbender. We are attempting to set up the Calibrate Z. It was throwing me an error, but we'll see. I hit accept, and it said it wasn't. I hit accept, and it said unknown command accept. But when I hit save config, it worked fine. So we'll see. Okay, now let's do Calibrate Z again. Okay. See if we come up with the same offset of minus 2.8. See, this is gonna pop up with that same error though. Look, I'll show you. Watch. On the top right of the screen there, that same error is going to come up, and I don't know if that's going to be an issue. Yeah, see, offset is larger as allowed. It says as allowed. Offset is 344, maximum deviation 1, but it says as allowed. I don't get that. Anyways, okay, so we'll go ahead and do the G90 again. And then we'll do G0, Z minus Z0. And I know it's not going to hit at Z0. So then we go G0, Z minus 2. And then G0, Z minus 2.8. Whoops, minus 2.8. And that brought it to the exact position. It's exactly where it went. So let me home that now to get rid of that. So that brought it to the exact same position as when we did the first calibration. So, but that error is kind of throwing me, yeah, I don't know. But what does this do then? So testing it, now I guess I'm not going to test it now because that's another stream, but so he does the big test here. So when he tests it, he says.
So to prove this, I decided to switch bed plates.
Yeah.
The one I have on here is quite thick, and the one that I'm about to put in its place is a decent amount thinner. And in theory, this should recalibrate, and at that point, I should be able to print. And so here I am. I just flipped out plates. I ran Calibrate Z. It's running much faster than typical. This video is 400% faster. Going to do the paper test here, and I entered G90 mode, and basically the same steps as before, starting at Z set at 5, then 1, then half, then 2, and then 1, I believe it was. And sure enough, it felt like just like it did on the other one. I had the same.
Okay, so I don't have. Do I have a bed that'll fit this? Let's see if I can change thicknesses of the bed. Hang on 1 second. I've got a lot of beds. Let's throw this. What I'll do, I don't have a actual steel bed, but I'm just going to throw a sheet of polycarbonate on it. Okay, to make the bed that much thicker. And it's a little big, but it'll still let me do the same thing. So we'll throw a sheet of polycarbonate on just to see. So we'll home. Well, we did home. Let's do a quad gantry level now. And hopefully this doesn't move too much. It shouldn't move. It's just probing it. It shouldn't move. Okay, so obviously we've made the bed much thicker. So I think what he's saying is that with this thicker bed, I should still get the same offset of minus 2.8 for my Z. The offset shouldn't change. It should allow for the thicker bed when it does its calibration. So first we'll do the quad gantry level, then we'll calibrate Z and see what happens. Yeah, this polycarbonate sheet's not moving at all, so this will just simulate having a different thickness bed. Okay. Then I'll get some sleep tonight. Can't stay up till midnight again tonight. Okay. Let's run the Calibrate Z command. We'll let it do that. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to probe the nozzle. Or we're going to home the nozzle on Z. Probe the nozzle. I'm just tired. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to home the switch on Z. But remember, we're not homing the actual switch. We're homing the body. Okay. Now we're going to come and we're going to measure how high the bed is using the switch. Okay. Okay, now we're going to dock. Okay. And we're going to have that same error, although it says offset is larger as allowed. Anyways, we're not going to worry about that error. We'll throw our paper on. We'll do our G90. Okay, to put it in absolute mode, then we'll go G0, Z0. We'll bring the Z down. There we go. Now we'll be careful here too. We'll go G0, Z minus 0.5. We're not moving, so we'll go G0, Z minus 1. Okay, so it didn't work. So that error is causing a problem. G0, Z minus 0.8. Yeah, see, that changed. So the Z offset now is 0.8. So it did change with the thickness of the bed. So there's something wrong. So this error we're getting here, there's a problem with this error. So that's something we're going to have to figure out. Let me just home that to get my nozzle off the bed. There we go. So that did not work. But it's a start. But it's a start. It is a start, and I am done. So I'll pop on between now and the weekend. I've got to find. I'm still obsessing over that piece I lost. I'll have to try and find that so we can get our NeoPixel wired up. But so that error that's coming up is obviously something that's. Let me copy and paste that error and see if there's anything on GitHub about it. It's real quick here. Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Nothing specific on that. There is some Z offset errors. But there's a lot of reading to do on this, but I'm going to have to look at it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have a look and see if there's any errors, see if that's ever happened before. So anyways, for now, what just fell in my... I swear something just fell in my head. Well, maybe it was a spider, who knows. But for now, it's time for me to go to bed. I was up till midnight last night, and that's too late for me. So I'm going to sign off, and I'll continue this. Is there bugs in here or something? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's time for me to go to sleep. But thanks everybody for hanging out and watching. And I know a couple people just joined, but I'm sorry, we are going to shut down now. So what we did, just to summarize, is we put the we started the config file for the Auto Z calibration. We got the clicky working fine, the probe, everything's working fine. Now we're trying to do the auto Z calibration so that when we change thicknesses of bed or change beds or nozzles, it just automatically calibrates itself. We're 80% of the way there, but there's just something missing that it's not doing right, and there's a little error popping up. So I've got to research that a little bit, which I will do tomorrow. And between now and the weekend, we'll do this again, and hopefully we can get this working. It's not a deal breaker. I can still do a test print without it, but I like to get it working. So I think there's a maximum number you can enter for tuning Z. That's why you're getting that error. Yeah. So we'll figure that out. But I'm sleepy. That my mind is not thinking 100% clear tonight, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's good. I just need some rest. So we'll continue this another night, and you guys just keep an eye out. And I'm going to be doing my regular scheduled Sunday stream. But as far as this goes, depending on what's going on in the home front tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, I want to get on and work on this a bit more, because this is fun. It's not, at first it's frustrating, but now it's just fun. So we'll catch everybody later. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night and sleep well. Bye for now.